Hello everyone. So today we start chapter number 4 of class 12, which is moving charge and magnetism. So the topics that we'll cover in this chapter is Biot-Savart law. Well, first of all we need to see what is magnetic field, of course. Then comes Biot-Savart law, okay, which is a law to determine magnetic field at a point, okay. So that is written as BSL, Biot-Savart law, and its application. Then we have Ampere-Circuited law and its application. Then we have force on a moving charge, okay. Then we have cyclotron, then force on a current carrying conductor, and finally galvanometer. So these are the topics that we'll study. So first let's understand what is a magnetic field. So you see, the space around a current carrying conductor or a magnet where a magnetic force can be experienced, you call that as a magnetic field. All right. So now I hope most of you or all of you are familiar with a magnet. Okay, you might not have seen a bar magnet, but you might have seen this kind of magnets which are found in speakers and all. All right. So loudspeakers and all, you have this kind of magnets that you must be familiar with. And bar magnet you will see there in the lab, of course, when you do class 12 physics practicals. All right. So in a magnet you have two poles, north pole, south pole. So there are magnetic field lines which are imaginary lines, okay, which are imaginary lines going from north pole to south pole, okay. Now near a magnet, what happens if you have another magnet or if you have another magnetic substance, okay, say an iron nail. All right. So say an iron nail, that iron nail will, or that iron block here, as in the case, that iron block will experience a magnetic force, okay. Now even if you have a compass, a magnetic compass near this bar magnet, okay, that will also show direction in accordance with the Coulomb's law, okay. So this is south pole. The north pole of the bar magnet the north pole of the compass will point towards the south pole of the bar magnet, okay. So when you remove this bar magnet, you will see that this is showing the natural north south of the earth, all right, the natural north south direction. But when you get this closure, it will straightway point towards the bar magnet. So this is experiencing a magnetic force, and therefore this deflection is happening. Now the same effect can also be observed by using a current carrying conductor. You have a wire and it is carrying a current I, okay. So in that case also, if you place this bar magnet, if you place this compass near it, you will see that the compass is showing deflection in accordance with this. When you turn off the current, then you will see that this is showing the natural north south, the magnetic north south of the earth. All right. So we have this Oester's experiment, we'll see it ahead. So I hope you understand what is a magnetic field. Magnetic field is a space around a current carrying conductor or a magnet where you can experience a magnetic force. Now the SI unit of magnetic field is Tesla and the CGS unit is Gauss. So 1 Tesla is 10 to the power minus 4 Gauss. This is the conversion you need to remember. So magnetic field you denote with B vector. The unit is Tesla or Newton, meter inverse, ampere inverse, and the dimension is this. Okay, so I'm moving to the next rule, that is right hand thumb rule. Now you have a situation, if you can see this diagram. So this red is a wire, this red line is a wire carrying current I. Now the wire will have a magnetic field, the current carrying wire will have a magnetic field around it. Now how do you find out the direction of the magnetic field? By putting the right hand in this manner, and therefore it is called right hand thumb rule, okay. So when you place the right hand in such a manner that the thumb is pointing towards the current, then the direction in which the finger curls, all right, that will show the direction of the magnetic field, okay. So this region is outside the page, okay, and this region is inside the page or behind the page, okay. So you place the thumb towards the direction of current, then the direction in which the finger curls, they show you the direction of the magnetic field. So this is right hand thumb rule. The same rule can be seen in a different manner also. Like you have current carrying loop. Now in this situation you have the current carrying loop, and that is represented by the direction in which your finger curls. All right. In such a situation, the direction in which the thumb points, all right, thumb is pointing towards this way, that will show you the direction of the magnetic field, okay. So always know that outside a bar magnet the field lines go from north to south. All right, if this is north, this is south, but inside a bar magnet the field lines go from south to north. So here also it is behaving in a similar manner. The field lines are going from south to north inside the magnetic or inside the current carrying loop. Okay, so as this is behaving as a dipole, magnetic dipole. Now outside this the field lines will go in this manner. The field lines will go in this manner. Okay, this will be the direction. This will be the direction. Okay, this will be the direction. So I hope this part is also clear. So the same right hand rule can be used in two manner. The first part is you place the thumb along the current, and in that case the direction in which your fingers curl, they show you the direction of the magnetic field. The second thing is the fingers curling is showing you the direction of the current in a loop. All right, so in that case the thumb will show you the direction of the north pole, and the other side will be the south pole. Okay, so this is also behaving as a magnet. This is a magnetic type. So we come to Biot-Savart law next. So you have this current carrying wire, current I. All right, so you consider a very small length element dl vector AB. Now we consider a point P which is at r distance away from this dl length element. Okay, and this r vector is making angle theta with this current carrying wire. Now we have to find out the magnetic field at this point due to this current carrying wire. Okay, so the magnetic field will be represented by dB vector. The magnetic field is a vector quantity. Okay, now so magnetic field at point P due to the current I will be given by, in accordance with Biot-Savart law, it is given by mu naught I dl sin theta, mu naught I dl sin theta by 4 pi r square. Okay, so that is mu naught I, well now we put that in vector form. Okay, so mu naught I dl vector cross r cap divided by 4 pi r cube, 4 pi r square. Now we know that dl sin theta, this is straight away from class 11, dl sin theta is dl vector cross r vector, where r vector is the unit vector. Okay, so mu naught, what is the value of mu naught? Mu naught value is 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 Tesla meter per ampere. Okay, now you also know that r cap is r vector by r vector modulus. Yes, and that can also be written as r vector by r vector modulus is r ultimately. So in place of this, like in place of this r vector, now we have mu naught I dl cross r vector by r vector modulus. So this, you see, we have 4 pi r vector square, we can write in this manner, right, into r vector. Now r vector modulus into r vector modulus. So this can be written as mu naught I dl cross r divided by 4 pi cube. Okay, in simple terms you can also write this as mu naught I dl cross r vector divided by 4 pi r cube, by removing that modulus sign and the vector sign, because once you take the modulus you are representing a scalar quantity. The magnitude is a scalar quantity only. So this is your relation for dB in vector form. Okay, this is your relation for dB in vector form. I hope this is clear. Now by applying right hand rule, the one that you like learned just above this one, by applying right hand rule, or to make things easier, if I copy this, if you apply it here, you see the thumb is pointing towards the current, then the direction in which the finger curls, the magnetic field lines will come out from this end. Yes, from the page they will come out. Dot means coming out, okay, and cross means entering the page. Always know this, remember these conventions. Dot means coming out, cross means entering. So here the magnetic field lines will come out, right, and at this point P, or on the right side, this is space, right side of this wire, the magnetic field lines will get in. Now we were finding out the magnetic field at the point P, therefore the magnetic field or the direction of the magnetic field will be going inwards, invert the page, and therefore we put a cross here. Okay, so at the point P, B vector is directed inside the page. Okay, on this side, say you consider this point as Q. At the point Q, B vector is directed outside the page. You remember in this manner. Okay, by applying right hand thumb rule, you can determine the direction of the magnetic field. Now we'll see an application. So magnetic field due to a current carrying conductor. So actually this has a derivation, but I'm avoiding that because this derivation, like, the syllabus has been shortened. Now we will, for solving entrance questions and all, we'll be doing the relation, but I don't think the derivation is necessary. If interested, you can go through the book and then in a separate class, or I can clear the confusions if you have any. For now, for the regular class, I'll just avoid that mathematical derivation. So in accordance with Biot-Savart law, now you have a straight wire carrying current, okay, carrying current I. Now the wire is XY, and you have a point P where you are supposed to find out the magnetic field. Okay, now this is a perpendicular bisector. All right, so this point P is at a distance A from this midpoint of the wire. Okay, and say this point P makes angle phi 1 with X and makes angle phi 2 with Y. Okay, so in accordance with Biot-Savart law, the magnetic field at the point P will be given by, again it is invert the page. Okay, B or magnetic field at the point P will be given by mu naught I by 4 pi A sine phi 1 plus sine phi 2. Okay, the relation is simple to remember. So mu naught I by 4 pi A sine phi 1 plus sine phi 2. Now if the conductor is of infinite length, so when do you call this conductor to be of infinite length? Say this X will extend up to infinity, this Y will extend up to infinity. In such a situation, what will happen? This line will go like that. Yes, this line will go like that, this line will go like that. In other words, you can say that phi 1 and phi 2 will keep on increasing, right? So when they increase, you'll have them nearly equal to 90 degrees. So if the conductor is of infinite length, okay, if XY is of infinite length, then phi 1 and phi 2 will be equal to pi by 2. Okay, in such a situation, B will be equal to mu naught twice I by 4 pi A. Okay, mu naught twice I by 4 pi A. Again, this will not be exactly 90 degree, but they will be very close to 90 degree. Okay, so mu naught twice I by 4 pi A, that will be the relation, like sine 90 plus sine 90, 1 plus 1, that is 2. So it becomes mu naught twice I by 4 pi A. So this is the relation in case of an infinite length conductor. Okay, now if the conductor is of finite length, if XY is finite, right, in that case phi 1 equal to phi 2 will be equal to phi. The angles will be equal. All right, and B will become mu naught I by 4 pi A. Now that is sine phi plus sine phi, it becomes 2 sine phi. Okay, now let's see the diagram, like what is sine phi from this particular diagram. So here we are, the only change that you have from the previous diagram is these angles are phi, they are equal, and you are considering this length to be L. All right, this is a finite length L. Now in such a case, this part will be L by 2 and this part will be L by 2, as this is the perpendicular, as this length A is the perpendicular bisector. Okay, so now you have this as L by 2, you have this as A. So what will be the length of this hypotenuse? That will be A square plus L by 2 whole square, square root. Yes, and therefore sine phi will be equal to perpendicular by hypotenuse. Perpendicular length is L by 2. Yes, and hypotenuse is square root of A square plus L by 2 whole square. Now this can be written as, after solving you get L by square root of 4A square plus L square. Okay, 4a square plus L square. I hope this is clear. This sin phi value is clear. Now if you put that here, you get mu naught I by 4 pi a into twice L divided by square root of 4a square plus L square. Okay, so after simplification, or not simplification really, some rearrangement, like this I will be brought here, it will make it twice IL, and A will be attached with this quantity. So B will become mu naught by 4i. It's like separating the mu naught by 4i constant, okay, because it has a direct value of 10 to the power minus 7. So mu naught by 4 pi, then twice IL divided by square root of, or a square root of 4a square plus L square. Okay, so this is the relation here. Now in case of a finite wire, the magnetic field relation will be this. I hope this is clear. Now we have a B versus magnetic field versus A graph. Now in all these relations we have noticed one thing, that B is inversely proportional to A. Yes, in this situation also B is inversely proportional to A. Here also B is inversely proportional to A. Therefore, with the increase in value of A, B value will keep on falling exponentially. So this is the graph you need to remember. Alright, so the next application, there is magnetic field on the axis of a circular loop. Alright, now this is little bit difficult to imagine because this is a three-dimensional figure. Okay, you might face some issues. Now you see, this is a wire carrying current in this direction. Alright, now this wire is perpendicular to the plane of the page. Okay, the wire, or the loop, I should say the loop is perpendicular to the plane of the page. So in that case you can say that this part is outside the page and this part is inside the page. Okay, so you have this length element dl here, xy is the length element, here you will have another length element x prime, y prime. Now the radius of this loop is r, and you have a point P here where you have to find out the magnetic field. Okay, so what you will do is that you will connect this line, dotted lines. This length is x, the radius is r, and then hypotenuse will become square root of r square plus x square, right? So that is A, this is hypotenuse. Now this particular angle is theta, this particular angle is theta. Now magnetic field due to xy is dB here, magnetic field due to x prime y prime is dB here. Okay, so here you apply right hand thumb rule to understand this. Magnetic field due to xy is dB this, and due to x prime y prime is this dB. Now if this dB is making angle theta with the vertical, or this dB is making angle theta with the vertical, then you can split this dB vector into components dB cos theta and dB sin theta. Okay, now well, if this element has 1 dB cos theta here, this element has another dB cos theta here, this element will also have 1 dB cos theta, which is outside this page, perpendicularly outside. This element will have a dB cos theta here, which is perpendicularly inside the page. Now you can notice one thing, that these dB cos thetas, they have diametrically opposite components also. Okay, like same dB cos thetas are lying diametrically opposite, which will cancel each other. But the other component, which is dB sin theta, all the dB sin theta, due to all small length elements, they will lie along this direction and they will add up. For the total magnetic field, all the dB sin theta will add up. Okay, therefore we can say that magnetic field at the point P due to xy, okay, due to xy is dB is equal to mu naught I dl. Now sin, previously in the Biot-Savart law we had the angle that we place here, there we use sin theta, that was the angle between DL and R, right? That was the angle between DL and R. If I show you the diagram once again, this theta is the angle between the current element and this point, okay, like the distance of the point from this current element. This is the angle theta. So here also the current element is this xy, say, and the distance connecting the point P where you are finding the magnetic field is this line. So you are finding out the angle between this current element and this particular line, and this angle is actually 90 degree. Now this is something which is difficult to show in this 2-dimension page. Okay, in 3D it is simple to understand. What you have to do is that you can take a cup, okay, and on the rim of the cup, or you can take a ring or a bangle also, that will do. Okay, you fix a pencil or a pen in this manner. In that case you will see that it is making angle 90 degree. Okay, it is making angle 90 degree. Just you try this out, or else I'll have to take this topic again. Okay, so this angle is 90 degrees, so that particular angle is sine 90 here. Mind it, that theta is not this theta, this is different. Okay, so you can, if you want to mark it with some angle, you can mark it as phi. This angle will come out to be as phi. So mu naught ideal sine 90 degree divided by 4 pi r square we had previously, that distance. Now we have this distance as a square, 4 pi a square. So we have this as mu naught ideal divided by 4 pi a square. Okay. Now already we have talked about that all dB cos theta will cancel each other, alright, and dB sin theta will add up. Okay, so magnetic field at the point P due to the entire coil will be given by integral of all the dB sin thetas. Okay, so you see sin theta from the diagram, sin theta is what? Perpendicular by hypotenuse, isn't it? So if this is theta, then perpendicular is r, hypotenuse is this. So r by a you have for sin theta, and dB value we already have it. So you can write this as dB, in place of dB you can write down mu naught ideal divided by 4 pi a square into sin theta. Okay, so let's do one thing. Okay, just write down sin theta as sin theta only. Now here mu naught I by 4 pi a, or mu naught I sin theta by 4 pi a square is a constant. Okay, of course we'll use the value of sin theta, and integral dl, we are integrating with respect to dl. Now dl is the small length element of this loop, right? So that if r is the radius of the loop, then the perimeter of the loop will be twice pi r. So integral of all the small dl will be what? Integral of dl will be twice pi r. So mu naught I 4 pi a square sin theta is r by a into integral dl is twice pi r. I hope this part is clear. Integral dl is summation of all those small length elements spread across the loop. Okay, and that will give you the perimeter of the loop. Now this is giving you mu naught, you see here you have pi r into r, this is pi r square, that can be written as a, yes, area of the loop. So we can write down as mu naught 2ia divided by 4 pi a cube. Now what was the value of a? Value of a was r square plus x square to the power half, yes, and therefore you can write down b as mu naught 2ia divided by 4 pi r square plus x square to the power 3 by 2. Okay, so this is the relation for magnetic field at the point P due to a loop. Now due to a current carrying loop. Now for n turns, like if there are n turns in the loop, n number of turns in the loop, then what will happen? Then your B will become mu naught 2NIA. N is the number of turns, 2NIA divided by 4 pi r square plus x square to the power 3 by 2. Okay, so small r is the radius of the loop and x is the perpendicular distance of the point P. Now special cases. So case number 1 is like if x is very large in comparison to this radius, that means this point P is very far away. That is case number 1. Case number 2 is if x is 0. If x is 0, this point P will come at the center of the loop. Okay, so those are the two cases. You see, if x is greater than much greater than r, if x is much greater than r, then r square can be neglected in the above relation. Okay, because r is already very small or r is already very small near x, that means r square will be even smaller. So in such a case, what will happen? The relation will become b equal to mu naught by 4 pi 2NIA divided by x cube. Okay, so this r vanishes, this is neglected, and x square to the power 3 by 2 is 2 cancels, then what survives is x cube. So this is one of the relation. The second one is if x equal to 0, then the point P comes at the center of the loop, isn't it? The point P comes at the center of the loop. So in such a case, so x equal to 0, that means you are putting this quantity as 0, x equal to 0. So you get 4 pi r cube in the denominator. Okay, so we write down the relation as b equal to mu naught by 4 pi twice NIA divided by r cube. Now what was the value of a? Value of a was pi r square, isn't it? So 2NIA, that is pi r square divided by r cube. Okay, so after cancellation, what do you get? B equal to like r square, and this is cancelled, so you get b equal to mu naught like 2 you can 2 and 4 you can cancel, yes, or let me write down mu naught 2NI divided by 4 pi r, and this you can write as mu naught NI divided by 2 pi r. Okay, mu naught NI, but pi should also cancel, yes, so pi should also cancel, I made a mistake here. So mu naught, this pi will also cancel, pi will also cancel, and you have mu naught Ni divided by 4r, sorry, yeah, 4r, here mu naught Ni divided by twice r. Okay, now if number of turns is 1, then what do you have? If n equal to 1, now this is your relation for n number of turns. If n equal to 1, then b equal to mu naught I by 2r. So this will be your relation. Now you see, if we consider the relations from above, like we had for or magnetic field at a length x or at a distance x from the center of the loop was given by mu naught by 4 pi twice NIA divided by x cube, right? So here we can say that bx is inversely proportional to x cube. Also b naught is mu naught by 4 pi 2 NIA divided by r cube. This relation also we have derived above. Okay, for magnetic field at the center of the loop is this relation. So here b naught is inversely proportional to r cube, yes. Then if we do like b naught by bx, what do you get? You get x divided by r cube, yes, we get that. Now you see, as x is greater than r, therefore b naught or magnetic field at the center is greater than magnetic field at a perpendicular distance x from the center of the loop. Okay, so you can say that this second case, magnetic field in this case will be greater than magnetic field in this case. Alright, so that can be represented by a graph. B versus X graph. So here the X and X prime axis, this is showing you on either side, of course. So this is showing you the distance from the center. Okay, so the distance is like r, twice r, and so on, and the magnetic field at the center is maximum, and it is falling exponentially with the rise in r. Okay, so I hope things are clear till here. We'll continue the remaining topics in the next class. If you want, we can arrange a live session also to understand these things, but prior to that, make sure that you go through this lecture well. Okay, thank you.